Hey, good evening. Here's a crypto update. It is still Tuesday, the 8th of August, Lionsgate Day. And we've had a really nice bounce in crypto. To be honest, we didn't really have a breakdown in other risk assets as well either. If we take a look, for example, at these stock indexes, we held the lows as previous double top high from June, little false breakdown, and we're still stuck in this sideways range in between these moving averages. I still think this is the ES futures. I still think holding underneath 44.92, which we dipped underneath today. If we got underneath and got stuck underneath it, we've got another 50 points lower, I think, to 44.46 from here, and the daily 50 moving average. I'm still in sell rally mode, I think, until we see that, or unless we close back above this daily moving average, the daily 20 moving average, which is at 45.35. So pretty tight range now, 45.35 and 44.92. And we may have to wait until Thursday until we get out of it, with CPI and then PPI on Friday. Although it just feels like a week where something unexpected could happen. You kind of never know. It feels like one of those weeks. The other thing we kind of really need to see happen to give a little bit of a pause is this rally in the dollar. And so far in the dollar, we're also sideways range. We had a pretty strong rally today, but we haven't managed to take out last week's highs. So still stuck in a sideways trading pattern despite the really strong price action today. And stalling at these previous highs. If you look here on the hourly, this is what allowed the really nice push and squeeze higher in Bitcoin and some other assets. There are a few, not many. Most altcoins are not looking very good, I have to say, but there are a few that have some really kind of nice potential buy setups if we can squeeze a little bit higher. First off, I'm going to look at Bitcoin with regular candles on a 4-hour chart here. And whenever you have a big bounce like this, getting above, first off, if we take everything away, the first thing to be going higher we need to do is we need to take out the previous swing high, which is here. Although we could argue maybe this one, because this was the last big swing high before this low. But either way, what we don't want to see is a 3-wave equal measured move, and that is where we have stalled in this squeeze in Bitcoin, and that is at 30,066. Now, when you reverse at an equal measured move, which is very common, closing and holding underneath the 61.8 usually kind of confirms it as a corrective move. And so I would say holding above 29,500 on a close is really what we want to see now if Bitcoin is going to keep going higher from here. I honestly don't know what it's going to do. I do think that we might come at least back to there. Potentially, it doesn't look like 5 waves up that you can lean into, because this wave in the middle here is too short. The one in the middle can't be the shortest. So we're just going to stick, 29, this is really kind of the key support zone for Bitcoin now that we've squeezed. And we just, even if you don't know fibs, moving average, even if you don't know anything, and you look at a completely empty chart, in terms of trend, what you need to see is a market to be going up again. You need to be seeing higher highs and higher lows. And so this previous high, for most market participants, it's often a place where you'll see profit taking. If we look at this daily also, we can see in the spot Bitcoin here, this is also, let's take that off again, our daily 50 moving average. So, and you can see previously what incredible support and resistance this 50 moving average is on the daily. Support, 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 resistance, support, for 7 days here. And so it really is important that we can close and hold above 30,000 for more upside after this big squeeze. ETH has underperformed Bitcoin, but has also had a really nice bounce. Unfortunately, not quite enough yet. I'm watching to see, if we in ETH here we've got we haven't actually, let's get a 50 on as well. But this daily 20 and 50, these two daily moving averages, we really need to close above them and this previous swing high here in ETH around 1878 to be continuing higher. 1880 is where the daily 50 is. So it's a pretty impressive bounce. Now, what we might see next, let's go down to a 4 hour, what we might see next is a pullback and a lower high and then another go at this level. And if we were to see that, then a break above it would be kind of really bullish. 1874 is where the fib level is. 1880 is where the daily 50 is. So again, not after this big rally, we need to see what happens here. So if you're hovering with your finger over the mouse thinking, should I buy some here? Is it going to keep going without me? I would say no. Let's see what happens here on this pullback. And if I'm wrong, and if you get up in the morning and it's closed, it's pushed higher overnight and closed above this level, well, the important thing about support and resistance is it should be support on a pullback. So you will be able to buy a pullback. Sometimes it's not going to be, you know, the price you wanted, but it will be when you know that it's going to keep going up rather than what potentially could be the high of a spike. So time to be patient now and see, well, not patient, but just hold back and see if we can turn this into a bottom. Impressive, but just not quite enough over the line yet. Now, ETH Bitcoin is also still underperforming. So again, until that changes, I think that Bitcoin is going to be attracting most of the money. Some people will notice this rally. And one thing about Bitcoin, you know, is it doesn't really have much, you know, kind of fundamentals that drive it. Price is what drives the bus in Bitcoin. And, you know, if people think it's going to start going up without them, they will jump in. So, you know, this is, don't get me wrong, this is positive. It's just not quite gone far enough to confirm that we're really going to keep going from here. Let's take a look at some other potential coin. Now, the biggest... A lot of interest, of course, in Ripple. And Ripple's still holding that 50% level very quietly. This is a 4-hour chart. Here's a daily. Haven't got a green hike and actually from this pullback level that we're watching yet. And it really didn't follow Bitcoin. It's trading very quietly at this level. I kind of like the base that it's building, though. I would say if you're going to do anything for a kind of follow-up move, you know, this flipping of the hourly move, you know, moving averages here for me, I think Ripple actually looks better than a few of the others for a bounce. Now, the trouble level will be at this previous swing high, which in Ripple Bitcoin is 2,200, and then 2,308 would be the next confirmation level. Let's take a look at Ripple Bitcoin, Ripple dollar. So here on the daily, yeah, you know, this is kind of a nice candlestick pattern. It's not quite enough, is it, to say we're going up, but I think that we should, you know, this previous swing low and this back test of this 61.8 level, this daily 20, you know, and 0.676 in Ripple dollar, back above that kind of would confirm a bottom for me. For now, it's just a bounce in an uptrend. And I know it's another one, but look at these 4-hour moving averages. So yeah, it looks like it's going to start turning up against Bitcoin and outperforming Bitcoin, and it is making a pretty nice base against the dollar as well. So again, buying pullbacks in Ripple I don't think is a terrible idea for a trade, and see if we can turn it into a bigger swing. For now, you know, these hourly moving averages should be support, and we are looking for another swing higher. So 0.676 will be above this level, and this previous, you can see a double bottom here. above that level would really kind of confirm the bullish reversal and say we're going up again. If we cannot get above there, or if we turn lower before then, still consolidating and in a pullback, I'm afraid, for Ripple. Solana is another one that's got a nice chart look on the daily for me. So this was an equal measured move in Solana from the low in December to this high projected from this low in June. That's where we peaked at 31.92, and you know, as I said, you should really hold this 61.8 if you're still going to go higher, and we're underneath it. So now 24.62, it should be support. Now if I put regular candles on, you can see that's where we have run out of steam with this bounce. And if we look at it here on a 4-hour, we haven't been able to close above 24.62. So for me, 24.62 is kind of my bull bear line for Solana against the dollar if we are going to go higher in that one. So again, let's see, a higher low, a pullback, and another go at that level could give us a nice long entry. Let's talk about Rollbit, because that's the best performing crypto coin today. First off, I'm not a fan of Rollbit. You can't trade it everywhere. The reason that it has rallied like it has today is because it's been listed on Poloniex. At the moment, I think before then you could really only trade it in a few places and on Uniswap. Now, so Rollbit is a gambling platform for crypto, and it's also blocked in a lot of countries that are important for it to do well, or where all of the influencers that promote it live. So you can't trade it without using a VPN in America, in Europe, in the UK. I think in Canada you can, and a few countries, but really not very many. Now, if this platform is doing so well, why does it need to issue, you know, it's an exchange basically, isn't it? This is so, it reminds me so much of FTX. And like, if this platform makes money, and let's face it, if you have an exchange, you've got a license to print money, and particularly one like Rollbit where it's really opaque, there's no order book, and very successful traders have, you know, if you read on Reddit, they will have a lot of trouble withdrawing their funds. So this is why I am avoiding this like the plague. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I think that this rally may run out of steam here. So if you've been trading this, you want to watch out. So first off, if I measure from this low to this high and project it from here, we've paused at this equal measured move level at 0.174. Likely then to come back to 0.13 from 0.17, and only holding above there in this previous swing high would keep this going higher. Otherwise, look, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and I think that we could see quite a deep pullback here. Another way that I use to project targets, I put the fib from this high to low of the correction, and then I mark on the levels 1272, 1.618, and that almost is where we are, 0.18. So for me, if we were to hold and close above 0.18, it would keep going to 2618 would be the next target, which is 0.25. When I look at the daily, you know, it's not overbought in the RSI, although it's getting there on the 4-hour. So key 0.18, really kind of key resistance for Rollbit coin if you're in it. I personally am not going to touch it with a barge pole. Sorry, just yeah, my wounds from FTX still hurt, let's put it that way. So if it smells like a scam, it probably is. Now there are a couple of other charts of interest. Let's take a look at DOGE. So DOGE, which is a token now that really measures Elon Musk's interest. We said this was key support, bottom of this channel. Our, 4-hour 200 moving averages, the third touch of this channel. We've had a very nice third touch false break here. So getting back above 0.077 in DOGE should see another leg higher. Target is 0.85. At the moment, we're just trading sideways after potentially just a pullback. Let's see at the moment also these 4-hour moving averages. That's the hourly 200 moving average, which was previously support, resistance, resistance, resistance. On most time frames, the hourly 200 moving average is the king of the trend. So I'm going to say that that is also true. That's at 0.75. So above 0.75. We're going to look for 0.77, and above 0.77 we can talk about heading to 0.085 target next. So DOGE, the other one that I like quite a lot, this is such a lovely OG coin, is Chainlink. So we're going to apply those same rules about the 3 equal measured moves. So and if you join, I'll teach you how to draw this and how I measure this. So we measure from this high to this low, project it from this high, which is the 27th of July. We've bounced very nicely in Link from the equal measured move level and these lovely 4-hour moving averages. So holding above this on this 61.8, if we're going to keep going lower, this 0.618 level and these previous swing lows should be resistance. But if we can close above them, we've likely made a bigger bottom. And normally with a 3-wave move like this, the most common retrace is a 786, which would put us back up here, wouldn't it, toward these highs. So I'm watching this around 7.4 quite closely in Link, because holding above this level, which it looks like we might do, I'm buying them. I'm personally going to have a go at buying the next pullback, I think, because Link has at least set up for a retest of the highs. But for me, bigger picture in Link, we kind of didn't quite get to the top of this range or this channel, and I like how we've pulled back into these daily moving averages and are turning up again after a 3-wave correction. For me, that's quite a nice looking setup. The problem is when you make 3-wave corrections like this, quite often that's just the first leg of a bigger 3-wave correction. So you need to watch how the rally unfolds. So this looks like 3 waves down, and then sometimes what you see is 3 waves up, and then you'll see 3 waves or sometimes 5 waves before you go up again. So this is the bigger 3-wave move before you go. So how we rally from here will be important, and then making a new high and then so on. So Link potentially is yeah, a little bit higher, and we could be seeing a nice measured move. Okay, so I going to release my strategy app for everyone and post it on YouTube and Twitter later this week, and I'm restarting my strategy group after 18 months hiatus, and it'll be live. I'll be doing live updates every day on my Twitter subscription, which you think, God, more money you have to pay. It's $20 a month, which is super cheap. It's Twitter. You can subscribe, have a look. If you don't like it, you leave any time. Yeah, but good things coming. So if you'd like to join in, or if it helps you just look at the market in a different way, or learn a few tools that will help you be profitable, I'd really like to help. I realize that learning to trade is a really hard thing to do. 95% of traders are not profitable. You have to really stick with it and learn to be kind of disciplined and manage your risks to be successful. And it's not a quick and easy process. So I learnt the hard way, and hope you're doing well. Speak soon.